Hey guys, obviously I'm not here today, so I thought I'd make a quick castify over what you guys are going to be doing. We've been looking at similar figures with scale factor and also with corresponding angles. We're still going to be looking at similar images, but instead of scale factor, we're going to do ratios. Ratios just comparing two numbers. So on this slide, you can enhance the report or story by adding photographs, drawings, or diagrams. Once you place a graphic in the electronic document, you can enlarge, reduce, or move it. In most programs, clicking on a graphic causes it to appear inside a frame with buttons along the inside, like the figure to the right. You can change the size of the shape by grabbing the button, by grabbing the corners or whatever. All right, so here's a couple that have been resized. Okay, so we got this one. Okay, that got stretched. This one's right here, and then something with this one. All right. So a way to describe and compare shapes is by using ratios. Like I just said, a ratio comparison of two quantities. Okay, we can use ratios of corresponding sides to determine if shapes are similar. Let's look at the pictures that we just resized. So I'm going to go to the original. Okay, and I'm just using a ruler that I have, and I'm going to measure. Okay, so on my screen, okay, and your screen might be a little bit different. I have her at about 6 centimeters tall. Okay, 6 centimeters tall. The width of her, okay, still the width of the fish basically. All right, I'm getting about 5 centimeters wide. So my ratio is 6/5 because I want the height over the width. All right, now looking at this one on the left, okay, my height for this one is about 4.5, and my width is going to be 2. So 4.5 and 2. Now I want to make this so that I don't have a decimal in my fraction. So we do a lot with simplifying. This time I'm actually going to scale it up. So I'm going to do 4.5 times 2. That's going to give me 9. And that's going to be over. I'll multiply my bottom by 2 as well, 9/4. All right. Now looking at the middle. Okay, the middle one is about 2 centimeters. And my width of this one is about 3.5 centimeters. All right, so now I'm going to do my height over my width again, because whenever you're doing your ratios, you need to have equivalent. You need to compare the same quantities. Like we can't compare width to height on one and then height to width on another. So this is going to be 2 over 3.5. And it keeps wanting to change it for me. So 2 over 3.5. Once again, I don't want fractions or decimals in my fraction, so I'm actually going to scale this up by 2. So I'm going to make this 4/10. Sorry, 4/7. All right, so all I did was scale that up. And then the one on the right, I'm going to do as well. Okay, so the height of this one is about 3, and my width is about 2.5. So then when I do my ratio, my height is 3, my width is 2.5. Once again, I don't want my decimal, so I'm going to scale this. When I scale this, okay, I'm going to scale it by 2. I'm going to get 6/5. Okay, so now if I look at my ratios, okay, those are all my ratios. All right, if you should notice that this one, we'll go right here. Let's do some highlighting. My ratio is 6/5, and we do the one on the right. This ratio is 6/5. And now since those ratios are the same, okay, this is going to be the original one and the one on the right will be similar figures. All right, right here we can look at this one. Okay, equivalent ratios for the original picture and ratios, okay, are equivalent. So this time I'm matching up my short side of my rectangle over my long side of my rectangle. So that's 6/9. That's what I write right here, which can be simplified to 2/3. And then on this one, I have 8, my short side, over my long side, which will then be 8/12, which also gives me 2/3. Notice when they're simplified, they are equivalent. Okay, if they're equivalent, okay, and these are both rectangles, so we already know that our angles are congruent. These two shapes are similar because you have congruent ratios or equivalent ratios. Sorry, not congruent. And we also know that our angles are congruent because they're both rectangles. All right, so as a class, you guys are going to finish these two up. After you finish these two up, then we will go over the summary. And then after the summary, there's a few extra slides for you to do. And then there will be some extra slides. So right now, I'm going to ask the teacher to pause the video, or Ted Quiz, pause the video, please. Fill in this. You guys can work with your table partners. And then from there, we'll go over the answers. And then you can start the other slides. All right, so pause the video right now. All right, welcome back. Hopefully you guys got these done and it's making sense. So we're going to use the ratios of corresponding sides to determine the rectangles that are similar. All right, so I'm going to do my short side over my long side every time here. So I'm going to do 12/20, okay, for rectangle A. And then what number goes into 12 and 20? You can simplify it or use the ABC button. Okay, 4 goes into 12 3 times, 4 goes into 20 5 times. So now I'm going to look at B. Once again, I want my short side over my long side. You always got to stay consistent. So this is going to be 6/10 equals, we're going to simplify that. 3 goes into 6 2 times. Sorry, you can't use 3. Not very smart there. I meant 2 goes into 6 3 times, and 2 goes into 10 5 times. So these two ratios are similar. Looking at slide or rectangle C, short side is 9, long side is 15. Once again, we're going to simplify that. 3 goes into 9 3 times, and 3 goes into 15 5 times. Once again, we have equivalent ratio. The last one is D. I'm going to do short side over long side. Okay, I'm going to simplify that. Okay, so 2 goes into 6 3 times. So my numerators are the same for all of them. But 2 goes into 20 10 times. So notice these three are all similar because they're rectangles, which means they have congruent corresponding angles, and they are also, their ratios are equivalent. So which ones are equivalent? They're going to be rectangles A, B, and C, because they have equivalent ratios and they have congruent corresponding angles. All right, slide 7. Okay, once again, I'm going to do short side to long side, so I'm going to do 8/10. Okay, and you can turn this to a decimal. 8 divided by 10 would just give you 0.8. For F, okay, I'm going to do short over long, so this is going to be 6/7.5. Now you can use your calculators when you do this, or you can just go here and do 6 divided by 7.5. And what do you know? It's 0.8 again. So 0.8, I'll put the 0 up here just to kind of make it more easy for you to see. And then the last one is going to be 4.8/6. And then I'm going to do 4.8/6. Okay, and that's going to give me 0.8. So which ones are equivalent? Well, if I'm looking at the ratios or the decimals, E, F, and G have equivalent ratios, but they're not all similar. The reason they are not all similar is because we always need to look at their corresponding angles. So E has 68, but F and G both have 52, so 68 is thrown out. We cannot use parallelogram E. So the only ones that we can say are F and G because they have congruent corresponding angles. Okay, so only F and G will be. Okay, so on slide 8, just kind of doing a quick review. What do they need? They need to have equivalent ratios. They need to have same scale factor. They need to have congruent corresponding angles. And number 4, I just want you to back out of that. Don't worry about that one. All right. Hopefully this makes sense. Mr. T's in here, Ms. Violet's in here, Ms. Kate's in here, so you can ask them questions. You guys are now going to be working on similarity, identifying similar shapes. Okay, identifying similar shapes will be, it's going to be like this. Okay, that tells you what you need. All right, and you're just looking for the ratios, and you're going to say if they are similar or not, and you'll highlight it. Okay, so like here, same general shape, different general shape, same general shape. Then you look at your corresponding angles. They're either congruent or they're not. Corresponding sides are the ratios, and then similar or not. All right, good luck. Hope you guys do all right, and I will see you guys on Wednesday.